Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I bring you a super and easy, delicious, amazing recipe, the famous meatloaf, with just a few ingredients. And if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe and share this video with somebody who might find it helpful. Without further ado, let's get started. Preheat the oven to 370 degrees Fahrenheit. We will start with 2 slices of sandwich bread. This is the leftover sourdough sandwich bread that I made. If you want to make your own sourdough sandwich bread, I'm going to leave the link in the description below and also at the end of this video, but you can use any sandwich bread that you have at hand. We're going to use a food processor to turn these slices into very fine breadcrumbs. I start with a few pulses and then I let it run for a few seconds until I get the consistency that I want. In the end, you should have about a cup or a cup and a quarter of these fine breadcrumbs. Next, we will use 1 small yellow or sweet onion, half of a bell pepper, you can use green or red pepper, and 1 whole carrot. You can either peel the carrot or wash it really well if it's not organic. Chop the carrot in small pieces of about ½ inch. Then add those pieces to your food processor. Start with short pulses to avoid straining the motor. Then let it run to grate the carrot very finely. If you don't have a food processor, you can perfectly use a hand vegetable grater. Just make sure that the pieces are very small for all the veggies. Now we're going to add the pieces of onions and the pepper. Again, I'll start with just a few pulses and then I'll check the sizes of my onions and the pepper. I'd like the pieces a bit smaller, so I'm going to pulse it a few more times. And this is the consistency that I am looking for. In a small bowl, I am going to combine a 1/4 cup of ketchup and a 1/4 cup of barbecue sauce. I have 2 pounds of ground beef. If possible, try to find lean beef. And I'm going to add the breadcrumbs, the grated vegetables, the mixture of ketchup and barbecue sauce, one tablespoon of salt, about a teaspoon of ground black pepper, but you can add black pepper to your own taste. You can add a little bit more or less or no pepper at all and it will be okay. Now I like to dig a little well and add 1 egg and only 1 egg. We don't want our meatloaf to be too compacted and tight. Work it around with your fingers and gently mix all of the ingredients. Use your fingers to separate the ground beef and incorporate the vegetables and the breadcrumbs. Do not overmix it and do not squeeze it too tight. We want the ground beef to still be a little bit loose and keep its integrity, but we also want to combine all the ingredients really well. Now for this step, I'll be using a roasting pan with a dripping tray. If you don't have this, it's okay. You can either use the bottom tray and put aluminum foil, or you can add parchment paper and spray it with some oil, or you can also use a loaf pan that you traditionally use for baking bread. That's up to you and what you have at hand. I like to use this one because the meatloaf cooks on top and all of the extra juices drip down to the bottom tray. If we're going to be using this type of roasting pan, we will be making a freeform with our ground beef and turn it into almost the shape of a football. The measurement is approximately an 8x4 or a 9x4, give or take. Now we will place it in the oven and bake it for an initial time of 45 minutes without any sauce on top, and then 40 to 45 additional minutes with the sauce that we're going to create right now, for a total of 80 to 90 minutes of baking time. And for the sauce, we're going to use half a cup of ketchup. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of honey and 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard. And we're going to mix it really well to combine all of the ingredients. It's been about 45 minutes and I'm going to remove the meatloaf from the oven quickly for just a few minutes to add the sauce that we prepared. This needs to be done rather quickly so we don't let the meatloaf cool down inside. Alright, now back into the oven for an additional 40 to 45 minutes. After about 30 or 40 minutes, I'm going to insert a meat thermometer. I like this one because it has a jacket at the end and it makes it safer for storage. You're going to insert the thermometer in the center, but not all the way to the bottom. You need to make sure that the thermometer is halfway through the meatloaf to ensure an accurate reading of the temperature. The ideal temperature should be about 160 degrees Fahrenheit because sometimes the meatloaf has thicker and thinner parts. I always wait until the temperature rises to about 165 degrees Fahrenheit. It's been about 45 minutes and my meatloaf is ready. Some parts had about 170 degrees and some others 160, but that's perfectly fine. Now, I know it's tempting, but we don't want to slice it yet. We want to let it rest for about 15 to 20 minutes. We want all the juices that are in there to kind of settle and stay inside. If we slice it now, the meatloaf might get a little tougher and dry later on. We want all those juices to stay inside so that our meatloaf is moist and delicious. All right, it's been about 15 minutes and now it's time to cut a slice and give it a taste. This is so yummy and I wish you could smell my kitchen. You really need to try this meatloaf. And this is so simple. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share this video with somebody who might find it helpful. I hope that you have a wonderful and very blessed day. See you very soon.